Hello intermediate algebra students. So today you're going to listen to a video where we are going to review our ratios, proportions, percents, and conversions. And then when we come back after the weekend, we will go through and do some practice days to prepare us for our test next Friday. So the essential question for this is, how can I write and solve proportions? And here are the 5 vocab words. Rate, which is a ratio that compares quantities measured in different units. A unit rate is where you are converting it down or simplifying it down to 1 unit, where you do amount per minute, amount per mile, amount per ounce. Proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. A percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. And then a conversion factor is a ratio of two equivalent measures in different units, always equal to 1. So make sure that you have a note sheet from the substitute and that you are ready and prepared to follow through with this lesson. As I go through, you are able to follow along and pause whenever you need to in order to be able to have items filled out or practice on your own. So our first example is where we are going to be comparing unit rates. So it says, tell which store offers the best deal by finding the unit rate. So unit rate, just like we had already said in the definition, is one that you are comparing, it's where you're comparing per one. So this is per one item. Let me make this a little smaller here. Okay. So if I'm looking at store A, it says $22 for 2 shirts. So I'm going to take 22 and I am going to divide it by 2. Now bear with me, I am writing with the mouse here. So this is going to be $11 per 1 shirt. So if I go to store B, $45 for 4 shirts means that I'm going to take 45 and I am going to divide it by 4. Let's say 45 divided by 4 gives me 1125. 1125 per 1 shirt. So right now, store A is cheaper because per 1 shirt, it's less money. So then when I look at store C, $35 for 3 shirts. We take 35 divided by 3, which is $11. And if I round it, it's 11.6 repeating, so $11.67 per 1 shirt. So by looking at these, the winner would be store A because it costs less money for 1 shirt. So again, when you're looking at unit rates, you're converting it down to 1 piece, 1 item, in this case 1 shirt. When it's the best deal, it's the amount that is the lowest money. So for conversion factors, we are going to do something similar, but we are going to work with different measurements, but seeing where they are equivalent or equal to each other. So like 1 foot is how many inches? Well, 1 foot has 12 inches. So then when we look at miles, we want to know how many miles is 5,280 feet. So if you know this offhand, for 5,280 feet, 2 miles. Oh, is 1 mile. Oh, Miss Hall should have figured that out because look at 1 on my feet, 1 on my mile. All right, so 1 meter. Oops. So 1 meter to centimeters is 100. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. And then 60 minutes equals 1 hour. So this here will help us be able to get through some conversions. But if you look at it, we have minutes and hours, kilograms and grams, which you don't have here, in inches, or feet with inches to inches. So let's do one more. Let's convert from, I'm gonna go 1 gram to kilograms. Okay, so let's instead go, hold on a second, I'm looking this up. So 1 kilogram to gram. Okay, so we're going to put 1 kilogram on top, and it is 1,000 grams on the bottom. So these are going to be some helpful information to be able to work through the rest of these problems. So when we're looking at letter A here, convert the following. So 330 minutes to hours. So 330 minutes is to how many hours? As, well, if you look up here, we have our hours and minutes. 60 minutes is to 1 hour. All right, so there's a couple ways that we can go through this. We can figure out, all right, how many times does 60 go into 330? How many times does 1 go into 60? You can also do cross products, where that is where you are multiplying and then you are dividing. So any of the ways would work. So the one that would make the most sense to me is 1 hour. Yep. I'm going to figure out how many times 60 goes into 330. So if I take 330 divided by 60, that gives me 5.5. So my answer is 5.5 hours. Because if 1 hour is 60 minutes, then 5.5 hours is 330 minutes. So let's go to this next one. So now we have 15 kilograms to grams. So we're going to use a slow conversion. So I know that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So 15 kilograms would be how many grams? Well, when we're going through this, we are taking and I literally took in, oh, that's a bigger line, hold on. I multiplied by 15. So if I take and I multiply the bottom by 15, what does that give us? It gives us 15,000 grams. All right, so then this last one here. We have 5 feet 3 inches to just regular inches. Well, let's first convert our 5 feet. Well, 1 foot is 12 inches, so 5 feet would be 5 times 12, which is 60 inches. So if I want just straight inches, I'm going to take and add those two together. So it would be 63 inches. So I didn't show my work the same way I did here, but I still showed how I was able to convert each of these pieces around. So for A, it's 5.5 hours, B, 15,000 grams, C, 63 inches. All right, so now we're going to look at some proportional pieces. So find the solution for each proportion. This should be a nice review for hopefully stuff that you did last year or the year before, but it is something that is super helpful for what we are going to be doing this year in our intermediate class. Different ways you can do it. You can look and see, all right, can I convert, or can I figure out what the conversion rate is, or what my proportional rate is, what my ratio, what my factor is. Well, if I multiply 3 by 4, I get 12. So I'm going to work backwards. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide this by 4, and my answer is 5. So then on this next one, I can do something similar, only instead of doing the factor from side to side, I'm going to go up to down. So 8 goes in, or 2 goes into 4 8 times. So if I take 8 divided by 4, I get 2. So I'm going to go the same way here. 4D divided by 4 tells me that W is 10. But now on this last one, 2 doesn't go into 5 evenly, 2 doesn't go into 17 or 15 evenly, and I don't know what n is. So one other way that we can do this is cross products. So I can take and I can multiply 5 by 15, which is 75, and then I divide by what's left over. So my answer would be 37 and a half. Now I want cross products to be one of your last things that you're looking at, because I really could have done a conversion for a ratio factor going side to side. You picking up, buddy?
Yeah.
Good job. So I could have been like, all right, 2 goes into 15 7.5 times. So if I take 5 times 7.5, 5 times 7.5 also gives me 37.5. So you could still do where you were finding your rate, your ratio factor going side to side. So at this time, if I were you, I would pause the tape, work on these 3 problems, and then come back. All right, so hopefully you pause so you can actually get a little bit of experience going through it. All right, so for this one here, the answer that I got, so 2 times 28 divided by 15. So this time it is a decimal, 3.73 repeating. That would be it. Now, when I'm working with decimals of these kind of things, if I were to go 3.73, it wouldn't be a true ratio because 2 over 3.73 is not extremely equivalent with this. So make sure that you do have that repeating sign on top. Now this next one. 4 goes into 5, 1.25 times. So I'm going to multiply this by 1.25 and I get 5. So I'm going to go backwards now and I'm going to divide 7 by 1.25. 7 divided by 7 divided by 1.25, and my answer is 5.6. You could have also said 5 goes into 7 this many times, so 4 times that is 5.6, or 4 times 7 divided by 5, whichever way you want to do it. So for this one, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So 3 multiplied by the same number is 6. So there's our proportional piece of this. As you're going through this lesson, if you have questions, jot them down anywhere on here in order to know what you'd like to review when we get back together next week. All right, so now we've done our quick ratio review, our quick conversion review, and our quick proportion review. We are now going to use this in order to solve for the unknown in our proportions. So for this, I'm actually going to do cross multiplying. So if I take 4 times b minus 8 and have that equal 5 times what? B plus 3. Nope, you can drink that, buddy. And then you take and you do your distribution for these. For some reason keeps going. Then I just solve it like I would with our equations last week. So 4b minus 32 is 5b plus 13. This is going to be so hard to write. Okay, let's try this. All right, so I am going to add 32 to both sides. You might start with it differently, and if you do, go with it, because we'll figure out if we got the same answer. So then 4b equals